Welcome back to Life Unscripted, the show that gives you a sneak peek into the lives of creatives in today's world. My name is Ifoma, and with me today is one of the most creative people I know, an award-winning content creator, an actor, a producer, a singer, a writer. He does everything though, and I'm talking about Elozonam.
Zell do dough, you know, because I got that bread.
You do everything, Shao. But wait, we'll get into that.
All right.
I just want you to do a tongue twister first.
Okay.
So you have to say it 5 times.
Okay, what am I saying?
Sassy Sarah salsa dances with risk. I have to say it really fast.
Sassy Sarah salsa dances with risk. Sassy Sarah salsa
Really
dances
fast,
with risk. Sassy Sarah salsa dances with risk. Sassy Sarah salsa dances with risk. Sassy Sarah salsa dances with risk.
You scam. You scam, Sha. You scam. Because how did you get that? How?
We talk for a living.
I think I know why you got that.
Why?
Last year December, you released an EP, a track EP,
Yeah.
called Love and Everything in Between, right? And you have bars. So for you to say this without stress.
Tongue practice, you know.
Wow! So what's your favorite track from the EP?
It switches from time to time. So currently my favorite track is Killer.
Okay.
Because
I think
it's Killer right now. Before it was Shook when I made Shook. But now it's Killer because I'm trying to shoot like a video for that song, like
Can you
that's
sing it? Can
Instagram.
you just serenade me?
Fine girl, straight body,
Okay.
looking nice. Who's your daddy? Come
hello,
close.
daddy.
Let's get chatty. Let me be your champagne pappy.
Ooh, I think I wanted to say my favorite track is All of Us Are Mad in Lagos, but I think I like this one.
Oh, we're all mad.
We're
We're
all
all mad. Yeah, we're all mad is also dope. But Killer for me was different because it was just one straight verse and then a hook, and that song wasn't going to be made because I made a beat and I couldn't figure out what to do with it, so I abandoned it for like a year plus, and then I picked it up one day and called somebody else, and then we just added flavor, and I'm like, oh, I can see me doing this, and then I got the song written and then performed, and I was like, oh my god, hey,
When you do your own work, you're like, whoa.
Look, that's the thing. So when I know it really like is good, that's when it hits me.
Yeah.
I'm like, guy, you sabi you.
You hailing yourself.
When I'm hailing myself, that's when I know that the content is good.
So why the name Love and Everything in Between?
Because the track is about love, and then there's a whole bunch of stuff in between, like love, life, living in Lagos. You get heartbreak.
You've tried breakfast before.
Who hasn't? I've tried many times.
As I find like this, somebody's breaking your heart.
See, do you look?
Damn.
You should see the other person that they used to break my heart. They didn't even find rich. But in this life, it's not about finance.
Abi.
Exactly.
So you do a lot of things. You're an actor, you're a producer, you edit, right? Like you do everything. I
make music, I make all my beats.
You sing, yes. You
mix,
make all your beats.
Yes.
And you studied economics in school.
Yep.
So how?
Random.
How?
So I mean, when you're young, like in your teens, some of us we don't know what we want to do. When you ask a kid,
I want to be a reverend sister.
At least you knew, right? Anytime they ask me, I would always say, I want to be a musician, you know? But like, when reality set in, when I finished secondary school, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. And then my dad was like, study economics because economics would give you like a wide array of choices to, options. And I'm like, okay, cool, you know.
You studied it because of your dad, not because you wanted.
Because I was like banking and finance. My dad was like, no, don't do bank, because my dad's a banker. He's like, no. I'm like, okay. Then I got admitted for law. They gave me law. My dad was like, yo, no. You don't have the attention span for law, So study economics. It's like it has a whole finance thing in it, and as well as other things. So I'm like, okay, let's do that, and I did.
So you literally read to pass.
Yeah, I hated it. Oh my god, I hated economics. And you reflected because I did I failed a lot in school, and ironically, my elective courses were like creative courses, so guitar, African dance, contemporary dance, and I was acing all of them. Like I know how to play the guitar and everything. So the economics itself, I even did better in sociology because I had 2 majors, economics and sociology. So when I got to my 3rd year, I had to pick a major. So I left sociology because economics would afford me a lot more options. But big mistake. I should have just stuck with sociology because it was a lot better for my brain. Because me and econs, and especially mathematics, my days, it really sucked. Like anytime I thought about school academically, I always had heart palpitations.
PTSD.
Look, like even when I was in school, like thinking about school on a social level, okay.
So you never actually thought about getting masters?
Anything I want to learn, I'll learn it on YouTube. Thank you. That's how I've been living my life. Anything I want to learn, I want to learn something. I don't know how to do something. I want to be able to do something. I just go to YouTube. That's how I started learning how to edit. So went to YouTube and there's everything there. You can get a degree on YouTube. Like so, formal education for me doesn't work. I'm more hands-on. Like I learn on the job. I'm a practical learner and I learn fast. That way as opposed to sitting down in class and taking notes and then studying. To go in here, come out here.
So you said you didn't know what you wanted to do up until when? So how did you now realize you wanted to be
very, very
creation?
Honest, I was really particularly just coasting through life and just grabbing whatever I could. Because when I left school, I was at home and it was like a few months for me to prior to NYSC, and I told my mom like, I don't want to stay at home. You know, can I get a job somewhere or whatever? And she's like, oh, okay, she'll call somebody. And she called the wife of one of the owners of DDB, and I started as an intern. So they passed me around departments to see where I could fit, you know. So
you had no idea what you wanted to do?
I had no idea. I just knew I wanted to get a job and like I had zero idea. I was already making beats back then, but I didn't think that I could make money from producing beats. Like I tried, right? Like I did, I tried. And I was met with a lot of brick walls. So, you know, I just chalked it up to that being a hobby. And Instagram wasn't a thing. It wasn't even out then.
Oh, okay.
When I graduated, we're still doing Facebook. And I went around and then I found the production department and then I started producing radio adverts, and I just like, I'm comfortable here. I could actually do this job easily and seamlessly. And then I went for NYSC, worked in an investment bank. Knew for a fact that I did not like corporate banking or like that corporate world, you know? So I got back from NYSC, went back to the advertising company, and they took me back as an intern and then gave me a proper job like 3 months later. So I was there. So again, still, that was where I was. I enjoyed it, but at some point I started asking myself again, what's next? And I did this thing, I don't know what you do, I think a lot of people do, where I know that there's something I need to do or acquire a new skill, but I just don't want to do it because I'm scared of the work. So I did not focus on video editing or anything that has to do with visuals. I was just more about sound. Sound is very limiting, so I had to tell myself a few truths that, you know, I want to be shooting content. I can't depend on my brothers to always come through for me every time because they already dabbled in visuals. And I have to learn this thing by myself. And then I went on leave one day and went to YouTube and did like a crash course on video editing. Now, it was easy for me because I already edit audio. So it's basically the same principle. So I said that's how I started editing videos and paying attention to visuals. I was already in the department for production, so we produced commercials. So I was already paying attention to how things should look, how stories should be told. All of that stuff was already there. And then I was surrounded by creatives, writers, art directors. So it was easy to soak up a lot of information, right? And then one day, I started creating my own videos, and then it got really fun. And then I started experimenting. Now, because of the sense I have, the small sense I have, I looked at all these things, I'm like, okay, so the money is in production, right? Get this person, people who are good at their fields, a cinematographer, sound guy, whatever, and create something, like maybe a spoof ad, and see how you can try and start producing commercials. Because I worked in an agency and I knew how much brands were paying for commercials. I'm like, I have to get a piece of that cake. You know, so I learned how to produce commercials. I learned how to edit. I learned how to tell stories. I learned what made people tick. And that's also another thing about studying economics. You have to study human behavior, right?
Yeah.
And in relation to whatever. So I had to study human behavior. What do people like? People like storytelling. People like you talking at their heartstrings. People like stuff that make you laugh. Incorporate that when you're trying to sell something.
Yeah.
People like stunning visuals. Just do all of that. So I learned how to create commercials, and then I resigned.
No, we're getting to that.
So yeah, okay. So point is, everything I was doing, I was playing by ear. I had no plan.
idea.
I had no idea. I just knew that, okay, I like what I'm doing right now. I'm enjoying this. It was when I started creating videos, I started having a bigger picture. That's, to be very fair. When I started creating videos, I started having like a much bigger picture. Oh, I could do this. Even till now, I can tell you that I can only see what I want to do next and not beyond that. Yeah, so a lot of the things I'm doing, I'm playing by ear.
I don't know, because I'm a planner. I don't just do stuff. I need to know what I'm doing next.
Look.
If not, I'll get like bothered and stuff. So you just float through life. Luck you.
I don't think, so I won't call it luck. I would just say, I know for a fact that if I have something I want to do, I will not rest until I get it done, right? And then if I don't have any other thing to do, that's where the problem is. I can slip into a state of inertia. I'm just there not doing anything, and it can affect my mood. And then I know for a fact that if I stay in that place for a while, long enough, I would be forced to pick myself up out of it, because I know this is not me. I don't want to stay here. This is bad for me. I have to get up and do something. And then I will get up and then plan things and make stuff happen.
You quit your 9 to 5.
Yeah, scary stuff.
Was this before or after Big Brother?
Oh, come on, it was before. A year before. So I quit my 9 to 5 in 2018, August. I entered into the house July, so exactly a year.
What prompted you to resign?
So I had done this, so I was trying to get into Nollywood. I had done this show, this Money, Men and Marriage show for Ted Abudu. And my boss resigned. My immediate boss resigned. And they were looking at me to become the head of the department. But I'm just like, I got that gig, I did it was so good. I had another gig from Rumor Has It and Danny TV. So it kind of seemed like these things were coming. And I'm like, do I want to do 9 to 5 or like do Nollywood proper where the money is actually pretty good compared to what I'm earning right now, and I could actually chart a different course in my life? If I stay here in this 9 to 5, it's the same thing I'm going to be doing. It's not different. I've been here for 6 years. What else are they going to teach me that I don't already know? So I opted out. I said, yeah, okay. A month after my boss resigned and relocated to Canada, I dropped my resignation letter. I'm like, yeah, I'm going to. Ironically, when I left, everywhere was dry. Like, nothing came. My saving grace was that I like to believe that I'm a spendthrift. Like, I'm not good with money, but I actually am, because I have savings. Like, I know how to save. So I did not drink Gary at all, because I had savings. And I had little things I was doing for money. I had a show, I was hosting a few shows for Polo. So there were things that were bringing in money. I used my voice as a voiceover artist. So things here and there until December, when I got my first official commercial for a bank. They commissioned it in December, but we didn't get to shoot at all till April. So it was as good as not having anything, just the hope of having something.
Yeah.
They had approved everything we wanted to do, just bring the money and let's go. But that didn't happen until April. But once it happened in April, after April, I shot like 4 other commercials. In fact, I was in the middle of filming editing a commercial when Big Brother called.
So at any point were you scared?
Yes. I remember very vividly, sometime in September or October, I was producing my first EP. Like, I was working on my first EP after I had resigned. And I slipped into this, I will not call it depression because I feel like depression is a lot deeper, but I slipped into this extremely sad state. And I'm like, dude, what the hell, man? You're freaking talented. Why is the world not seeing you? What the hell? Like it was deep. So my younger brother came into the room and he's like, what's going on? And I just spoke to him and he's like, don't worry, man. Just don't worry. He just stayed there with me for like what, an hour or two before he went back. I was playing all my work, all my music. I'm just like, bruh, why? What are you doing wrong? You know? So there are times where, I was like, and I started saying that, why did I leave this job? Why did I leave this job? Why did I leave? Maybe I should have. But I'm like, no. Nobody ever did anything great in a safe zone. No, I'm like, nah. Because I was in an uncharted territory, I had to do a lot more to make it work. When you're in a safe zone, when you're comfortable, you will not push yourself.
Yeah.
But when you are uncertain about your next meal, about where your rent is coming from, about making money, about surviving, you'll be very creative. You push yourself, you think.
So was there any point where these brands were not coming? Like
before BBN or after BBN?
Before and after.
So before BBN, I only had 2 influencer gigs. Game of Thrones, the finale for JW, and then Access Bank. I'm Avengers Infinity War. These were the only 2 influencer gigs that I got. And then it was just dry from there. But in my defense, I only had my Instagram was 25K at the time. And I was even happy to get these gigs, you get. So after post BBN, it has its seasons. Sometimes I'll go 3-4 months without getting a gig. You know, and then sometimes it's just like, when will it end? There was a particular point in time, 2021, I think it was from November into December, people were just coming at me with work. So I would be shooting somebody's commercial and then I'll check and I've gotten paid for another one. So negotiations, and then approvals will now come all at once.
Oh, okay.
You get? So it's the same way that happens that the dry spells come. It's not every time everybody's advertising. There are some peak periods and there are off-peak periods. So this year has been one of the craziest though, because elections and everything. Elections halted a lot of things. Like I've had 10,000 emails about, we want to work with you, send it to Rika, this the brief. But elections just slowed everything down. So I think this year would be, after much exposure, would be one of the years where work has been kind of slow. Yeah.
So your content, they're actually really nice.
Thank you.
Is it because you're a perfectionist? Because do you get worried at some point that, will I be able to surpass this?
I never get worried about that. Oh no, hell no. Because you have to understand, with creativity, there's no limit. It's like sand, like a bowl of sand. You can draw on it in many, many different ways, and then wipe off again and draw. Do you get, the possibilities are endless. So I never worry about not outdoing myself, because there are people that are doing amazing stuff in this world, and with social media, you're seeing different things and getting a lot of ideas, and when you do that, when you incorporate different ideas into your work, you just never know how it goes. But the aim is always to outdo yourself. So I never actually get worried that, if I'm trying to do something and it doesn't come out as I planned or it's mediocre, okay, yeah, it happens. You cannot be on point every time. Yeah. You cannot be on point every time. You can strive to be every time, but there are times that it will just not, the bar will not just, you won't kick. So, or the custard will not fluff or whatever. So, I never worry about that. I just try to, outdo myself every time. And that's why I never do the same thing every time.
So what inspires your ideas? Like, your content is not actually the type of content that anybody can just relate to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a double-edged sword.
Was that intentional?
I don't know. I think yes and no, because I make what I like to see. So I can't make content. I don't know. I grew up watching a lot of 90s, 80s movies that shape my reality, right? Iconic movies that if I talk about these things to maybe somebody my age, they will know.
Uh-huh.
If it's a Gen Z person, they might not know. But if I talk to an American Gen Z, they will know because it's their stuff.
Okay.
Right? So I grew up exposed to that culture. So I'm making content because that's all I know. I watch a lot of Nigerian movies though. Oh my God, I watch a lot of Nigerian movies, but I enjoyed foreign movies a lot more because of the way they told their stories, the amount of effects, everything. Like they're bringing unrealistic things to life. And that for me was the challenge, like doing these very near impossible things, telling stories in such a way that, and that's why my work looks the way it looks. I'm focused on quality. It has to look tasty.
Yeah.
It has to look really good. The quality has to, because nobody's doing it. So let me do it.
You took your time.
Well,
Or you don't?
I would say I've gotten to the point where I don't need to take my time anymore. I can use one day to actually shoot premium content and it comes out and it bangs. So I feel like practice, time management and everything, you do this in your sleep.
You have a creative team, right?
Yes, of course.
What's like your creative process with them?
So from writing, I have a writer.
Okay.
If I have all the ideas are mine. Right? So, let me give you an example. Hello Neighbor.
Yeah.
Was something that I wanted to do because I was trying to appeal to a broader, more relatable audience. So it's supposed to be like a rom-com. Everybody can relate to a rom-com. Everybody. Back from the Future, people that like sci-fi, So everybody likes sci-fi.
Yeah.
So it was a niche crowd that plugged into that. Even though it kind of like grew at some point, but it was a niche crowd.
Yeah.
But Hello Neighbor, a lot of women it was made for women.
Yeah.
I'm like, because I want to make something for the ladies, Men can tap into it too, but this is for the ladies. And this is supposed to be like, a romantic situation. So I dissected the characters. It's supposed to be in the same universe as Back from the Future, the same Elo, present Elo, not future Elo. Yeah. But at some point we'll have future Elo coming, so we'll have a crossover. And then I went for that to say, so I want each episode to have its own genre. So we could have a sitcom episode, we could have a musical, we could have a horror episode, we could have like different things. And then I defined the characters. Lena is supposed to be an annoying neighbor. Elozonam is supposed to be the guy that's always putting her in a place and playing with her and teasing her. And at some point, this, we see them have these adventures. So I had to deliberately define the characters, then the whole plot and the story arcs. And then I said, okay, what will make it more interesting is if I have these random cameos. So let me get some Nollywood people. So I reached out to Nollywood and I told my writer, this is what I wanted. This is how it's supposed to go. And then he went with his own infinite creativity and fleshed it out, all the nuances, the dialogues, and everything, because I have to worry about production. I don't want to write. I can write, but I don't like writing. But I just leave that to people who are more versed in writing. So I just know what I want. This is what I want. It has to be cute, it has to look like this, it has to be this, it has to be that. The characters have to be this and that and that and that. Take. Then when he does his job, then I look at the production angle. What do I need to achieve this? I'll get everybody, then the cinematographer comes, then I direct, and I tell him the kind of shots I want, what I'm trying to achieve. So basically, it's a long process with each individual on the team because they have something to bring to the table and you have to guide that process to get what you, as a director, want out of it.
So do you at any point have issues when you can't pay them? Like maybe a brand comes and they don't pay you, but you have to do something for them. And
if a brand comes and they can't pay me, I'm not doing anything.
Okay.
So that's the thing. So I think I've gotten to the point where I can say no. Because I cannot give what I don't have. Okay. If I have Chima, I have Judith, who's my colorist, I have Chike, who's my writer.
Yeah.
If they're all giving me their rates, and the brand says this is what you have, and it's not up to what I can pay these people, am I going to do it? I'm not going to go and sell your market for you and pay to sell your market.
Yeah.
No. So I'll just say, oh, I'm sorry, I simply cannot do it. We can't afford it. And I don't want to ever there's a style I'm selling. I don't ever want to do something different, like go beyond or go below that. You're right. I've invested so much in my craft, and I've invested so much money in my craft. So I own my cameras, I own everything I use. So imagine you telling me that, oh yeah, we can use your phone to do it. That's not why people come to my page. They don't come for my phone content. They come for the tasty looking content. That's what I'm selling.
Yeah.
So I never want to do that. Even though there are times that I've shot with my phone and I've done some pretty amazing things in my own opinion. But I still like that whole cinematic feel.
Yeah.
That's what I'm selling. That's what I like.
You come from a very close-knit family.
Yeah.
And your twin, Cancel, left Nigeria. How did that affect you personally?
Before my twin left, my younger brother left.
Yeah.
When my younger brother was leaving, he hit me. Oh my God. I cried. And then when my twin was gone, I was just like, what the hell? It was very, very, and they know this, it was kind of heart-wrenching for me because we've been together for so long, right? Even though my twin and I schooled in Ghana, and my younger brother was in Malaysia and then England. But after all of that, we moved out of our parents' house together into an apartment together, and we stayed there for 8 years, I think. So we were together for such a long time. So when they were leaving, it was just, man, I planned everything and I left. I moved out of that apartment. As soon as my brother left, I left. Because imagine me staying there, in a house where there used to be all three of us. It's not just me.
Just you, yeah.
I just moved out, straight up. So it was sad. But hey, on to better things. At some point, everybody has to go their separate ways and live their lives.
So how long did it take you to get used to being by yourself?
So because of the fact that I moved into a new apartment by myself, it was like I was starting all over again. So it didn't take me that long, to be honest. I just adjusted to the entire situation as opposed to just my brother's leaving. I had to adjust to the entire situation, my new living situation, new location, new everything, new life. Yeah.
So did it affect your creative process?
No. But my brothers were like my cheerleaders, you get. So anytime I create something that I'm proud of, I'll call them, come and see. And they'll enter into my room and they'll watch, like, haha, or like they'll give me tips and say, okay, how about you do this, and I'll do it.
Yeah.
But I didn't have that. I would have to now send the clip to the group, because we have a group. Send the clip to the group and then, but it's not the same, It's not the same, but you make do.
So you're used to it now.
Oh yes, of course. I mean, there's no, of course, Council's not coming back, Auditor's not coming back, so, I just take what I can get at this point, yeah.
You're very close to your mom.
Yeah.
And how has she influenced your creativity also?
I mean, we got it from her.
Oh.
She was a creative director at an ad agency, so we got all of that stuff from her. I think what my parents did was they just let us figure stuff out, do what we wanted to do. They just exposed us to a bunch of stuff, computers and everything, and they just let us, and they rallied behind us. My dad, the same thing, my mom. There was never a question of, oh, don't you want to do this? Okay, so you want to do this. Okay, cool. So if you know my mom's handle on Instagram, you see her comment under every video that I put up.
Yeah.
She's always there leaving one comment. And she's not just, and she's cheering her son on. She's actually engaging with what the storylines, with everything. Do you get? So she's paying attention. As opposed to just, hey, my son. No. She's actually commenting on what's happening. So that gives me joy because, support.
So aside being a content creator, do you have other things you're doing? Because people tend to feel like, there's money in content.
Oh, yes.
There's money there, but do you have other things you're doing aside it?
I'm trying to set up other businesses. Currently own an Airbnb. And I'm trying to set up other businesses. And I also, content, there's me as a brand, and then there's my company that shoots commercials. So they're two separate things. I don't have to be in every commercial that I shoot. You know, that's it. So I'm trying to be a businessman. I'm trying to be a business. I want to see how I can actually wing that, but like, yeah, I'm trying to like expand my financial portfolio.
So for music, do you do music for fun?
For fun.
Or for fun, nothing.
For fun.
It's not something you're going to take seriously later.
Because music would take your money before it gives back. Music will take your money before. Like, so I've just resided in the fact that, okay, first of all, my music, I don't make commercial music. I make music just like my content. My music is niche. I don't know if there will ever come a time where my music will be commercially viable. So I'm just doing it because I legit enjoy making music. It makes me very happy, right? So I just do it for that. That's it.
This is a third-party segment. You have to give advice to some people that asked some questions.
Okay.
Sam said, I have decided I won't be happy in any job. I want to start my own business, but I'm wary of the risk. Should I quit my job and give it a try?
Okay, so Sam is wary of the risks. Should you quit his job? So a lot of people will tell you, don't quit your job without a plan. Yeah, they're right. You have to have a plan. So does he have a plan? How much money does he have saved up as a safety net? Because you have to eat. Let's be honest, you have to eat. You have to have a roof over your head. You have to have clothes on your back. You have to have the basic necessities, right? So do you have money saved up for that? And then if you can answer those questions correct, like yes, then I personally feel like you should take the risk.
Okay.
Personally, because like I said earlier, if you have a safety net like a job, you're going to be you will split yourself into. You're trying to worry about running your business, and something's going to suffer, and your business will suffer because somebody else is paying you. You're going to have to focus on their work first. So if you just throw yourself in the deep end, you will find a way to learn to swim. So I feel like if it's something he really believes he can do, he should take the risk and quit his job.
Okay. So Muna said, my new job is causing me emotional distress, but I'm too scared to quit because I don't want to let my parents down. I feel like crying all the time. What should I do?
I don't want to talk from the perspective of somebody who like is already doing something with himself. He has all this experience and everything. But I feel like if something is not making you happy, and especially weighing on your mental health, I think you should remove yourself from that situation because you will eventually get out of that situation. You cannot stay there for long, except of course you want to be depressed. And this life, people need to know that life is full of everything. There's so many things to enjoy in life that spending your time in suffering is a waste. Yeah, life is hard out here. Jobs are hard. Everything is tough, right? Then you will not start suffering in that job where you don't feel like appreciating it. I've seen people that in my office where they don't like that situation, they will just up and leave, right? You're not going to die. You will not die. You will not. You have life, right? You have brain. You will not die. You find a way, even if it takes you will see. The suffer you're going to suffer, personal suffer, is better than the suffer you'll be suffering that somebody else is making you suffer. That's ruining your mental health. So I feel like, I get the whole parental pressure. You want to make your parents proud and everything, but your happiness is first, though. Let me just be honest with you. Like, your happiness is first, and people don't realize that they're going through a lot until they get better. Do you get? And so the onus is on them to actually try to get better for themselves. She knows that she's in a bad situation. Get the hell out, man. Like, get out, leave. I stayed at my job for 6 years because it was a very, very good environment that fostered creativity. In fact, one of during my orientation, one of the guys, when we had to meet the guys, he said, life is too short to spend with bastards. You already spend much more of your time in this office. You have to spend with people that have sense, people that will make your stay here pleasurable, not with bastards. So don't spend your time with bastards, please.
We've had an insightful session with Elozonam. I personally learned a lot and I hope you did too. I'm still your host, Ifoma. Don't forget, life is unscripted. Don't allow fear or uncertainty stop you from chasing your dreams.